What is happening, everybody? Welcome back to the Sean Atwood channel with myself, Ron Swanson. And we're here for the paranormal journey. And before we get into all that, I hope you're having a wonderful. Make sure you're subscribed. And I'm going to put up the WhatsApp number. It's on the screen. It's now scrolling on the screen. If you guys have any paranormal stories or comments, you can put it into a relatively small paragraph, and images or anything that experienced yourself, let us know. It has to be through WhatsApp. Don't try and call the number. You're gonna have to call through WhatsApp. Call. So yeah. Now, before we get started, I just want to say thanks everybody for being here. It was a bit of an impromptu thing. But one of the things I love is paranormal. And okay, hang on. You know what it is? It'll be this. Tell me if the audio is fixed now. Okay. Okay. Let me know. Don't worry. The audio should be fixed now. Let me know. What's up with the sound? Let me know that everything is fixed. Yeah, that fixed it. Yeah. I don't know why it is, but whenever I try and play any music, the stream just goes, no. So anyway, what I was saying was, welcome everybody. Thank you for being here. It's a bit of a different night. Some of you may know me just from a royal mess and the royal stuff. Limited knowledge, doing my best. All right. But many moons ago, I was a full-time YouTuber with my own channel. Before that came to an end because YouTube said I was harassing people interested in underage people. Let's just go as far as that. But my sort of outlet from all of that was paranormal investigation. And for me, right, I don't understand these people that go investigating this stuff and then they hear a noise and they run away, right? Very much, I'll be honest, the dead, that's one theory that we're going to touch on. Because there's a lot of ways of looking at things. But this was one of the things I really love to do. I only got a couple of investigations done before the worldwide flu season started, shall we say. But it's something I want to get back into, but I don't want to get back into it if no one is interested in me being in doing it, if that makes sense. Just because limited time, we've got to make some content. And I love going to spooky, haunted places by myself, live stream the entire investigation, right? Go through, equipment, go through all of the stuff that creates this YouTube sensationalism of investigating, right? Because if you've got a box that lights up and you've got a machine that says words and all this, that is, that's some cinematasticness, if you see what I'm saying. But it's really easy to not only get false readings, but to purposely make these things happen, right? Make these things happen. So for me, I love the debunking side. I love the equipment I use. Okay, I use a wee EMF reader, very common for testing electromagnetic signals. Very, very corruptible piece of equipment. For example, mobile phones, lights being turned on and off, being too close to a wall with something running through it. All this stuff will affect it. So you really have to put it in an environment where you've run tests ahead of time. So on the live stream, I'll be like, okay, we're going to sit this here. We're going to watch it. If we get a couple of beeps, we time the beeps and see if we're getting a pattern of beeps. And more time, like 9 times out of 10, if you're getting a consistent repeating pattern, it's probably not paranormal. Okay. So I use that bit of kit, but you couldn't use it willy-nilly. You've got to have it controlled. You've got to make sure you run your tests, all that kind of stuff. Blah, blah, blah. Very boring. We're getting there. Spirit box is another thing. Now, very easy to get totally carried away with a spirit box. Okay, there is definitely a clear distinction between what is a moment of radio broadcast, okay, and what I personally believe. I just want to say you're very welcome to disagree with me, but trust me, my brain goes off data, and the data, the insane results that I've had with the spirit box, the EMF reader, and EMF reader, the spirit box. What the hell else was that thing? I can't remember. I think that's it. Those are really the only two things I need, to be honest. I've got a very cool laser thermometer as well that'll give you temperatures on cold spots and things like this. But that's like the nerdiest of end of the paranormal investigation. So, what am I looking for? So, when we talk about paranormal investigations, people often jump straight to ghosts, right? And what's a ghost? It's a dead person, right? Now, we're layman's terming this. Please you don't have to start explaining residual energy, residual memories, all this. We're getting there, right? So often people forget that it's not just the dead. There is entities, there are things that have never lived and will never die, that we will never understand and never fully know what they are. I remember Sean mentioning, he went into the woods and wanted to speak to the spirit of the woods. It's not like that. I mean, a lot of it comes down to will and intent, but we're sort of getting into the magical realm then when we're talking about things that weren't dead people. Okay, so for this particular lecture, kids, we're going to be focusing on the dead people. Poltergeists as well, they are created, manifested, unlike the dead. So this graveyard, Greyfriars Kirk, I mean, it goes back to the 1600s. It's old. It's real old. And the amount of tours that used to take place in two parts of the cemetery that are no longer accessible to the public because of how many issues there were. Now, this is Edinburgh. This is my city. That's Arthur's seat in the background. And I mean, it freaking looks gothic, man. Like, there's no other way of putting it. This is some gothic city vibes that are going on. Now, Greyfriars Kirk is named after Greyfriars Bobby. And this is his little dog. Oh, this is Greyfriars Bobby. Little Bobby. And you can see that his nose is all gold. It's good luck to rub the little dog's nose. So every year, millions and millions of people walk past, rub this guy's little nose, and the government, aka the council, have to repaint him every year. And I'm pretty sure his nose is worn off a few times. This is my version of a history lesson, so pay attention. There will be an essay-formed questionnaire at the end. All right. As you enter Greyfriars Kirk during the day, how nice does that look? Right? How like, oh, I'm going to go and meet my nan for an afternoon tea vibes. Do you know what I'm saying? Looks great. Looks great. And you can see just here a little pile of sticks where you leave a little stick for Greyfriars Bobby. I'll save you the Greyfriars Bobby story, but it's a classic one. Spooky Phil stuff's coming back. He's going through he's waiting to hear back about a couple of offers from a couple of places that I can't talk about that could result in televised content. Nailed it. Now, when you think of cemeteries and you think of graveyards, this place is nothing short of truly epic with the level of historical figures that were buried there, the brutal and just horrific past that this place has in the form of a prison. But it is fancy. I mean, it is this is straight up Lord of the Rings shizzle here. Okay, what is this? I mean, I mean, where do you get one of these in the modern era? Do you know what I'm saying? Walmart ain't doing these. Okay, that's a casket. It's not really. It's a big stone thing, but it's awesome. This was actually the room that my evening started off on. Midnight, pitch black, all alone. Various skulls and black plague, and it's listen, if you're one of these Americans, right, who loves the Scottish stuff, you would lose your freaking mind in this place. It's also the graveyard where J.K. Rowling got a lot of her names for Harry Potter from. Lady Ellen, I will put up a wee list of who's buried there. I do believe, actually, hang on. I do believe this is a list of them here. Yeah, here you go. So James Douglas, Earl of Morton, died 1583. And as late and as most recently as 1902. But I mean, you can see all there. It's a madness. Okay. The place is littered in, again, more gothicness, not to create a vibe, but because it was from the era where it just happened, people. Some of the creepiest looking stonework you'll ever see. I mean, it's really unnecessarily terrifying, a lot of it. You've got, full skeletal figures with hoods and cloaks, with skulls and bones, and it's 100% Birkenhair territory. You're talking 2 minutes round the corner from this cemetery is the place that Birkenhair were hung in the grass market, where they used to do the hang-ins. Okay, just to sort of give you some vibes now, here's some photography. It really puts in context the age, the spookiness. Okay, this next shot here. This is a very, very key place in Greyfriars Kirk. And this was the old prison, right? This was a place where people were tortured, killed, lived out their last few days in harrowing agony at the hands of a man. Hang on a second. I think I might have got ahead of myself. Hang on a second. Hang on a second. No, we're good. Okay, sorry, excuse me about that. So there's one very, very, very infamous individual who stays here, George Mackenzie, George Bloody Mackenzie, and this individual is responsible for thousands of deaths. He is the prominent figure in the lore, the tomb invasions that have unsettled his spirit. And just before we get into my video, we're going to watch a little video from the History Channel, just so you guys can get a little feel for this place, and it will throw yeah, Ragey, I know it's bonkers. And when you see where this is the thing, when you look at these images, right, when you look at this, okay, and you look at this, if you pay attention, that is literally a new build block of flats behind this. This looks like it's in the middle of nowhere. It looks like it's out in the sticks. This is bang in the middle of the busiest center of Edinburgh's, in the heart of the city. There's literally buildings, people's homes all around the edge of this place. You can see them in the background here. And it goes all the way around. It's completely encased. So what people see, oh, look at these buildings as well. I mean, this is just, it's one thing I love about Edinburgh as a city, is just some of these old buildings. So you got to imagine, right? You're just, you're doing your dishes, looking at the kitchen window, and your eyes are playing tricks on you 24/7. Also, as well, this graveyard never closes; it's open 24/7. So you can imagine people using substances and people who do not have a home of their own are quite prominent in these places. So my biggest fear when I went there wasn't the ghosts and ghouls, it was some Raj on 4 cans of Stella and some blues. So George Mackenzie, why so mad, bro? Well, we're going to just delve into this little 4-minute Mackenzie poltergeist in the Greyfriars. Let me know you guys can hear it. Okay.
Greyfriars Kirkyard is a graveyard in Edinburgh, Scotland. It is also the site of one of the most bloody religious persecutions of the 17th century. For decades, visitors at this graveyard have reported sensing a dark presence, a feeling of unease, and other unusual disturbances while at the cemetery. The mausoleum behind me is that of Sir George Mackenzie. It's black in color, and it's also the source of the most well-documented paranormal activity in the entire world. It all began when King Charles II ascended to the throne and quickly disavowed the Covenanters' right to practice their religion. Those who ignored his ruling were rounded up, imprisoned, and harshly punished. Sir George Mackenzie, the king-appointed Lord Advocate, was placed in charge of the Covenanters' persecution on behalf of King Charles. In all,
this is the now permanently closed gate of the prison area that I told you about. Obviously, you can see that written there. I'm just pausing this every now and again just for the copyright algorithm madness.
Mackenzie, nicknamed Bloody Mackenzie by his victims, was responsible for the death of 18,000 of his countrymen.
18,000, mate!
Mackenzie's bloody reign of terror came to an end when he passed away in 1691. Ironically, he was buried in the Black Mausoleum tomb, located a short distance from where his victims were laid to rest.
When he says a short distance, right, you're talking, if you're facing that mausoleum, right, to your right-hand side as you're facing it, 25 feet, 30 feet is where those metal gates begin. Okay, just to show you. When was this filmed? I think about 10 years ago.
For 300 years, both victims and tormentor rested in uneasy peace, just feet from each other. And one evening in 1998, a homeless man, possibly wanting shelter from the rain, broke into the Black Mausoleum, the final resting place of the infamous Bloody Mackenzie. At some point during the night, the vagrant began to ransack the tomb.
Yeah.
Unexpectedly, he fell into a pit filled with the remains of plague victims, dumped there ages ago as a quick way to dispose of the bodies. Engulfed in the remains and stench of still rotting flesh, the homeless man was heard screaming hysterically as he ran frantically out of the graveyard, into the night, never to be heard from again.
Okay, never to be heard from again. How did we find out about the story then, mate? I'm just saying, we gotta keep it real. Gotta keep it real.
Did this act of vandalism awaken the angry spirit of George Mackenzie? Since 1998, when Mackenzie's casket was first defiled.
Yeah. So this is the main key to focus on now. So since the tomb was defiled, Mackenzie's spirit has been mad. They refer to it as a poltergeist. Personally, I don't think it's a poltergeist. I just believe he's a very angry man. Possibly had some deals with some non-living, non-dead entities. We'll get onto that later. Some of the wounds and the reports of paying, human beings come into this place, taking a tour. They used to have the tomb open and they used to have the prison section open. And it just got to the point where there was people being attacked so regularly, it was just not worth the liability anymore because it was happening so frequently that people were assuming this was all being set up and that something was happening for publicity. Even though everything was happening in front of multiple witnesses. Keep watching. Possibly.
Over 500 ghostly attacks have been reported by those visiting the tomb, many of them documented with photographs. Documented injuries include burns, skin gouges, unexplained bruises, and broken fingers. Some visitors have said they were punched or kicked by an invisible attacker. Others talk of feeling nausea or numbness, strange smells, or auditory hallucinations, all having occurred with multiple witnesses present. In 2000, Colin Grant, an exorcist and minister of a spiritualist church, performed an exorcism at the graveyard. Standing in the cemetery, it said he was overcome by the sensation of being surrounded by hundreds of tormented souls. Fearing for his life, he left quickly, saying the evil was too powerful for him to overcome. A few weeks later, Colin Grant was found dead of a sudden and unexpected heart attack.
What, mate? What, mate? So, priest goes there, tries to battle the evil, dies a couple of weeks later of a heart attack. Listen, could it be natural? Could be natural, but I mean, it's facts. It's a bit mad.
Today, many people believe this graveyard is haunted by Mackenzie's ghost, a malignant spirit whose hatred lives on from...
Oh, there's definitely a lot of them, Elaine. There is definitely a lot of them. But again, we're not talking about something that was so deniable when people were attacked. We're talking about something that was documented over and over and over. Now, I found about 4 or 5 minutes of the actual ghost tour that they do in Greyfriars Kirk being spoken by one of the tour guides. So we're going to end our historical section with another more educated person telling you the story. This is from the YouTube channel Sean as well. I do believe he's an Edinburgh creator. So this is him taking the ghost tour around the Kirk. You'll get a few more facts, maybe set the mood a little bit more, and then we'll jump into our next section.
1998, Scotland changed its main religion. At that point, we wrote a new law called the Act of the Covenant. If you lived in Scotland Islands or her borders, you must abandon your individual religions to accept one new unified religion chosen by us, Presbyterianism. This was the law we brought in place just before we abolished Catholicism right through Scotland. If you said, no, I won't do that, in the eyes of the churches, you were evil, you were a heretic. The church began to arrest individuals. They wanted to create a detention center, a concentration camp. All that's left of it is behind these two gates right here. The spirits in this section detest females. Females, good luck. In the last 12 years, we've had over 3,000 people knocked unconscious in this tomb. We call this tomb the Black Mausoleum. Before you go inside tonight, and you are, a little bit of advice. Please do not stand directly at the back wall. In here, we get areas called drenches. They're barometric fluctuations. If you find one, your ears will buzz, they will pop, your blood pressure will cascade, and chances are you'll faint.
The vaults is where I'm going to be going for our first new ghost hunt. There's a few places I'm going to be, but I need to know you guys are interested in it. We're doing well tonight, but please like, share, all that kind of stuff. Once we've got another 3 or 4 minutes of this, then we're going to go into, like I say, the main section of this, which was my encounters and what went on.
In the last 12 years, we've had over 3,000 people knocked unconscious in this tomb. We now call this a poltergeist. If you don't know what that is, it's a vicious type of a ghost. Now, usually when you walk into areas that are haunted, you don't see the ghost. The ghost sees you and it runs away. But the one this year is different. This one's not afraid of you anymore. It's now become a form of a predator. Don't let your imaginations run away, because if you do, you'll see things that don't exist. The walls come to life, the shadows begin to move. And sometimes, girls, sometimes.
Yeah, go on, have a bit of theatre there, a bit of theatre on the tour.
The man that's just been here is called the Jumper Outer. This is the middle of the most violent repercussive ghost this world has ever seen. But please don't think you've escaped. The majority of people affected by this thing.
Yeah, there's no chance I will ever go near a Ouija board. Just to be clear, that is nah.
Never affected in this room. Give yourselves 24 hours. Give yourselves 48 hours. And look your arms, backs, legs, and stomach for scratches, bruises, bite, punch, kick, and blister marks. If you discover something that's never in your body before, please get in contact. We need to know why this thing's here. Lastly, and most importantly, before I do take you back outside, you chose to come on this tour tonight voluntarily. Therefore, you must accept any consequences that may follow you home.
That there behind me, I'm not sure.
All right, so you can see it's an integral part of the tourist scene. It's an integral part of Scottish history. It goes back hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years. We have priests going there to try and cleanse it of all of its wrongdoing, to only come up, die months later with having a heart attack and all this kind of stuff. So juicy, right? I mean, it's a juicy place to go. And if you're new here, I do this with my camera when I need to have a little smoke on my cigarette. So I think a lot of you know Edinburgh, incredible place. But when we're talking about somewhere that has such a overwhelming long history of documented aggressive, I mean, I would say when thin air can burn you, that's pretty much on par with as dangerous as it can get. Considering it's a publicly open place, right? Now, excuse me. This video I'm going to show you, it starts off. Let me take you right to the beginning. So when I do my next investigation, it's rolling tobacco. It's Pueblo classic rolling tobacco that I do. Lady Ellen, listen. Nah. I start off my investigations. I start them off with like an Instagram live, chitty chatting out on the outside of the place. Then we move on to a main YouTube stream. Obviously, it's easy because I'm outside here. I don't know how the vaults will be, but we'll try. Okay, there's a lot of interesting technology that can boost signals and all this kind of stuff. I will say, I like to do things alone, right? Because for example, I don't know anyone that I could take on a ghost hunt that wouldn't jump scare the living crap out of me, right? Do you know what I mean? Like, I've been out with the Ouija brothers. They were brilliant. They don't jump scare. Do you know what I mean? And I mean, it's dark. But I think the thing is, if you were to run out of the place screaming, right? You're right in the city center. Do you see what I mean? It's like a veil of security that that in less than 90 seconds, no matter where you are, running full pelt, you will be out of the scary place. So it kind of gives you a confidence boost. Plus, when you're live streaming, right? Anyone who's ever done content before, you will do things that you would not do for the content. Okay, overcoming fear, standing there, running towards the scary sounds, all that stuff. You will do some mad stuff for the content, and it means that I'm not by myself. I mean, I'm one of these paranoid people when it comes to this stuff. Like, I'll have mods that'll have my exact location, the police numbers, so that if anything happens on stream, for example, homeless people on 6 cans of Stella and a few blues jumping out and stealing all my equipment and knocking me out, I have people that can raise the alarms. I mean, you've got to, when it comes to this sort of stuff, especially when you're by yourself. So I cannot tell you how insane this was. This entire bit of footage you're going to see, right? I encourage all of you to debunk the main part of this, because I was there. Okay, there was close to 1,000 people on the live stream who were all there and seen this. Let's just jump in. Let's get started on this, because yeah. Now, I'm pretty sure the first sort of bit is me waffling a bunch of pap. Okay. All right. So we're going to just start off at where the video kind of begins. This was edited down from about 4 hours of live streaming. I don't know if I still have the raw files, right? So don't hold me to, well, we want to debunk it, give us all the files. I don't, it was freaking years ago, man. This is all I have left, I think. There's a computer downstairs that I've got a funny feeling most of it's on. But nonetheless, the new ones will be done this. So let's jump in. I know you can hear it all.
All right, what is happening, guys? It is already spicy. Let me get this camera turned around. It's been a spicy night already. I swear to God. That Instagram stream was pretty good, I have to say. We got some pretty insane results on the K2 meter, on the ghost spot in the spirit box. It was nuts. So we're going to do it all again right now.
Right, so
It could have been like a help me.
we're using a spirit box.
Do you need help?
On top of this. What the hell are they? Sorry, and that's not a sort of car. You know what I'm saying? Big stone table-looking place of rest. Just throw a bunch of equipment on it and hope you don't annoy anybody. Okay, so a lot of this you don't hear, right, when you're there. Okay, I'll play through it all. This is just sort of setting the stage for what's to come.
I sounded like yes.
Disagreeing with me.
Have you got something you want to tell us?
Okay, there's a lot of this. I'm just gonna skip forward to it because it's too interpretable. This is all, well, I don't hear that, I hear this. And to be honest with you, we're not here for that. Like, I'm happy to accept that was a bit muffled. We're moving forward. We're moving forward now.
Check the battery life here.
So where I'm walking.
Right, well, it's almost 3 o'clock in the morning.
Almost 3 in the morning. You know what that means, guys? YouTube time, 3 a.m. stuff. You know what I'm saying? But I'm just saying that's...
Which, of course, means we're getting close.
So this here, this is the old city gates of the city of Edinburgh. Okay? If you were a peasant trying to get into the city, this was your entrance. This is where you were pushed away from. This is where a lot of life passed through this gateway. And it's important that you understand this is a gateway, a literal gateway that souls pass to and from for years.
To going and seeing George. Now, we had a lot of activity here earlier. The spirit box was going insane. So I think I'd like to do another session with the meter, but with the knowledge of how far away to keep it. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it up here.
Okay, so you can see what this is. This is the old hinge where the old gate would slide into. We have the meter itself, which is on a tapered handle, getting thicker at the top, getting thinner. It sits in there very nicely. Okay, very nicely. Now we're going to start. It's so important that you pay attention to the details. Okay, we're going to continue to walk.
Move away from it.
So you can see the lights. You can see.
If there's any spirits here, can you touch that?
And I need you to pay attention. I am at this point. That is where the meter is. That's where the hingey thing is here. Okay. I am now going to be leaning against this wall on the other side, not on this side, on the other side, leaning on this wall. Device, run against the wall. Device, run against the wall. Okay.
Going and seeing George. Now, we had a lot of activity here earlier. The spirit box was going insane. So I think I'd like to do another.
All those lights, that's literally the university. That's Heriot Watt University at the end here. This is how in the middle of the city we are.
Just another session with the meter, but with the knowledge of how far away to keep it. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it up here. Move away from it.
Yeah, this is the old footage marks ahead of the new investigations.
If there's any spirits here, can you touch that meter? Well, you already are touching the meter. It's going Raj. I'm going to keep moving away and see if it's me. It's definitely not me.
So this is me now at the other side of the wall where I said I would be, okay?
Do you want to talk to me again? Can you make that go to red for me? You guys can see this, right? So I just want to say I'm about 8 to 9 feet away. I'll show you in a minute, but the meter is just going insane. We're on an archway, an old archway. I'll show you where we're at. So the meter, which is still going off, is at the other side of this archway. I'm standing right here, and it's just constantly going nuts. Oh my God, the spirit box just went on in my pocket.
This is why I'm so confident when it comes to my paranormal investigating, right? Because I feel like my soul is protected, okay? I'm telling you, this is all real, okay? None of this is a madness. Also, when I was talking earlier about being able to detect what was a bit of a radio show and what was a voice coming through, this is one of those occasions.
What the Right, okay. And it stopped. Oh, it's starting again. Hang on a second.
Well, I know exactly who I'm protected by.
All right, watch your ears. All right, if there's a spirit here and you want to talk to us, can you light that box all the way up to red right now? All the way to red. Thank you. Do you want to use this box here to try and talk to me? I'm going to move this meter. Oh, did you just say run? Did you just tell me to run? Oh, Aiden, thank you. Thank you so much. Did you just tell me to run? Is there something you want to tell me? Is that you lighting up the meter for a start? To answer me, is that you lighting up this meter? All right, I'm going to move this meter, guys. Whoa! Holy, move this meter, guys. Whoa!
Okay. So we're just Take it in, okay? You seen how far away I was, okay? So I couldn't reach that, all right? I couldn't reach that. I want you to just see, let's just watch, see if it was here, right? And it fell because it fell unbalanced. It would, oh shit.
Move this meter, guys. Whoa!
It would just fall down, right? It would just fall down. It looks like somebody takes it and goes this motion like that, okay? Oh. We're super slow motion in this shizness.
Move this meter, guys.
Then it goes off to the side. It falls and then accelerates to the side. What?
Move this meter,
Move this meter, goes down
guys.
and then
Whoa!
That is not how physics work. Do you see what I'm saying? Do you see what I'm saying? Like, what? Whew. This is spicy.
Move this meter,
Right.
guys. Whoa!
You've just had present Ron freaking out. Now you've got to sit through Ron from the past freaking out.
Okay, did you see that? I want to show you something. Do you see this hole? Right? Do you see where the meter is?
Oh, God.
I want to show you something. The meter is slotted in. I can't knock that out of there. Do you see? Do you see? Do you see? Is that you aggressive? Yeah, I bet you won't do it again. I'm not going to run away. Do you want me to turn the lights off? Run. Did you just tell me to run again? Listen. Oh, I'm going to turn these lights out. I want you to tell me once again. Was that you that just knocked my meter off of the wall? Can you do it again?
They're pretty adamant that they want me to run, okay? Like, I'm not going to lie. There's a lot of run banter. And
You just tell me to run again. Is that you?
Okay, so again, Joanne, it's open to interpretation. Is it Ron? Is it Run? The reason I think it's Run is obviously Ron isn't my given birth name, right? My first real name is Rocco, right? So would it call me by Ron? I don't know. So that's my argument for why I went with Run instead of Ron.
You beside me. Is that you beside me right now? If that's you here, I want you to manifest. Okay, thank you. Who the hell do you think you are coming up behind me and touching me? Who the f do you think you are knocking my equipment over?
Treat them like petulant children.
Nah, we don't need God here. No, any of the spirits that are here, they know exactly who I am.
I've got a bit of an ego.
And I'm certainly not here to be afraid of them. They know who my friends are.
Like, my ego is off the chart in the spiritual realm. Okay, the magical realm, the spiritual realm, all of this. Rum could be rum. Okay.
Isn't that right?
So yeah, this is a great bit. So this is what I feel is one of my favorite bits of evidence for me having a discussion with a spirit. I'm walking about going, do you know who I am? Do you know who my spiritual plane friends are? And sarcastically, I get hit with this response.
Is that you beside me? Is that you beside me right now? If that's you here, I want you to manifest. Okay, thank you. Who the hell do you think you are coming up behind me and touching me? Who the f do you think you are knocking my equipment over? Nah, we don't need God here.
Listen to it. Listen to it.
No, any of the spirits that are here, they know exactly who I am. And I'm certainly not here to be afraid of them. They know who my friends are. Isn't that right?
So they hit me with like a, oh, baby. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm sitting here giving myself all this, bigging myself up, all this stuff. I honestly felt like I was being mocked. It was a good time. It was a good time.
Yeah.
Also, at the end of this pavement, whatever you want to call it, path, I said the university's here. These two metal gates. About 10 minutes after this all kicked off, there was a massive sound of something impacting this. You see how you've got the black section here and the light section here. So this is a barred gate that opens, but the lower half is solid metal and the top half is bars. And something hit that gate. And I was on live stream. I have never been so scared in my life. If I wasn't live streaming, there would have been a Ron-shaped dust cloud. Just me going, yeah, Morgs, you've seen it. I remember someone saying, I think it was in a movie, it was like, you close your eyes and you let the fear in for 3 seconds and then you block it out. And I remember doing that. And it turned out it was just two drunk people, right? It was two drunk people who seen me doing whatever with the cameras and then kicked the thing because I had to hang around and debunk it. And I seen them pop their head over and laugh. I've never been so goddamn relieved in my life. Okay? Big shout out to Jude Jetson. What's happening? Wild. And that's why it's important. So, for example, if I hadn't debunked that, I would have left there with the story of the ghost that could have snapped my body in half because of how hard it hit that gate. So it's important we debunk. Let's keep going.
Do you want to knock that meter over again? Do you want to throw something? Yeah, well, I'm not giving you any more time, pal.
Okay, so before we move on, I want to go back to here. Okay, so let's say someone snuck around here, grabbed it, and threw it over there. Okay, we've got a lot of brush. Okay, we've got a lot of things that would be moving about, I think, right? Plus, you would hear someone. I'm surely I would hear someone. We were just on the other side there, no one there. I heard no one. I seen no one. So the only thing that is the only logical thing, but there was no one there. There was no one there. There was no one there.
So the meter.
We're not rewatching it all again. I'm just going back to the
which
main
is still
part.
going off. Is it the other side? Did you just up the meter? Up this meter? Is there something you want to tell me? Is that you lighting up the meter for a start? To answer me, is that you lighting up this meter? All right, I'm going to move this meter, guys. Whoa!
I mean, that is not how something falls. Sound is very bad fading in and out. I do apologize for that. It's just give me 1 second. We turn the light on. There ain't nothing moving. Like, none of this is exactly as it was. Right? There's no strings attached to it, obviously. I know that because I'm the one that filmed it. I mean, there would be, this bit would be moving if somebody had come down here, if a homeless guy, if a ninja had come down here, silent ninja. Let's just give him the benefit of the doubt, like proper cartoon, creepy steps. Some of this shit would be moving. Some of it would be moving. Okay. This does my head in every time I watch this.
I want to show you something. Do you see this hole?
All right. I just want to see that when the light comes on one more time. Please, can someone explain to me, just for a second, let's all pretend all paranormal stuff is made up nonsense. How did I do that? How did that happen? How did I make it happen if it's fake? How? Obviously, I know it's not fake. But how? I mean, your brain tells you that someone has picked this up, lowered it slightly with their arm. A gust of wind? A gust of wind? No. Good answer, but no. A gust of wind, it would be physics, right? That would come into play again. So if it was, let's say it was like a, right? John, let's say it was a gust, like a spontaneous, like that, right? All right, let's use something a lot lighter than that. All right, let's use Yoshi, right? It would be, and down it would go, right? It would fall down. Totally agree. Gust of wind is plausible. But then, John, there would need to be a second gust of wind, far more powerful than the first gust of wind, okay? Catching it, propelling it sideways, and then increasing. You've got to understand, the moment this leaves, okay, it's not going to accelerate past its terminal velocity, okay? This changes acceleration, okay?
Lighting up the meter for a start. To answer me, is that you lighting up this meter? All right, I'm going to move this meter, guys. Whoa!
It's the flick to the side.
Holy, move this meter, yeah.
This is where, if it was normal physics, it would just keep falling, right? Your brain is telling you, oh, that's fallen off there and it's gone here. If it bounced, okay, let's say it fell and then hit off the side of the wall, it's going to then be traveling slower than it was because of physics, okay? That's not what happens, though, okay? You all know this. I don't know who I'm trying to tell this to.
Guys, whoa!
Yeah, you tell me. You tell me, little scamp.
Move this meter, guys. Whoa!
All right, so I'll just replay this with no sound as I'm sort of ranting over the top of it. So I cannot explain this, okay? This was, like I say, this was bang on 3 o'clock. I'd been there for 3 hours. An animal... What animal? What animal? I mean, let's say it was an animal. So, nah. I'm ruling out animal. We would have seen or heard, or there would have been something. There's nothing. There's nothing. So, I can't explain this. I can't explain it. I can't explain some of the voices and the messages that came through that seemed to almost be being part of the situation or what was going on with me. Let's say 90% of them are down in interpretation. Help. A rat? What? Like, what? Okay. Rats, I don't know how good they are with their wee hands, right? So surely the rat would have had to have picked it up, then turned round with it, gone down the wall, and then like hike the ball because it's the trajectory. This is the thing. If it just fell off and hit the ground, we could argue it was wind or a rat or a massive moth, right? If it fell and then bounced off the wall, we could argue that. But that's not what happens. That is not what happens. Honest to God, I could go ghost hunting for the rest of my life and never experience something like this. How fast can you turn the light on? It is always on your hand. How fast can you turn the light on? The light is what I'm holding in my hand is like a mobile phone in a camera thing, like a little holder with two big spotlights and a microphone and a battery pack. Yeah. So it's a two-handed clunky scenario that I've got going on. But man, I'm telling you, it was mad. But let's skip to where we were and carry on with our little investigation from the past.
I think that's probably the most convincing here. Okay. Now, I think that's probably the most convincing thing that has happened this evening.
Does anybody remember the rods? Does anyone remember rods? The whole internet thing about the rods? It's a rod, baby! Oh. I love it. Also, as well, it was 2020. This is how we edited things with the epic music back then.
Can I just remind you all that meter?
Don't start me on rods. Don't start me on rods. Okay? You just seen one. All right? I'm just saying. All right. So this is now at the tomb of Mackenzie, the baddie. Okay, the bad guy, the big villain. And obviously, you've learned this evening that I'm literally the worst when it comes to the spirits, playing by the rules, the whole respectful thing. If it's spirits that deserve respect, they will get respect, right? Good old Mackie. Yeah, exactly. But nah, this man, nah. Also, I took along a horrendous looking clown as an attachment object in case anything wanted to come home with me.
Graveyard.
So I don't often point out little weird things like that. So trust me, when I do point them out, I have
any spirits here that want to show themselves.
Scrutinized them.
Whoa.
Want
to show themselves.
You see that? Do you want to show yourself? Right now, listen. I'm happy for you guys to be like, it's an insect. Okay. I'm happy for that. Okay. No problem. No argument there. This is an interpretation moment. But listen to what I say and what happens. Okay.
If there's any spirits here that want to show themselves. Whoa. Want to show themselves.
Now, what's interesting is
whoa.
I seen a little flash of light in the path, and that's what I'm reacting to there, if you see what I mean. When it's insects or bugs that are flying around, I know you're going to say it's insects. This was right at the end of the path, bro. It looks like an insect that's super close to me, but this was taking place in a part that isn't illuminated by the camera. Now, again, happy for you to say insect. I'm just letting you know the facts on it, if you see what I'm saying.
Oh my God.
There's a creepy clown.
It's the woman again. If there's any spirits here that want to talk to us, use this box to communicate.
Again, a lot of this is open to interpretation to what you hear. Bloody George Mackenzie is the name of this guy. Okay, so you could not hear that with the naked ear, right? Is when you get back and you analyze your data. Now, when we talk about radio signals and voices from beyond, I'm not going to show you guys anything that I haven't scrutinized and believe that it isn't a radio broadcast, but it's still open to interpretation as to what is being said. That the females that were coming through, it was scary.
Oh man, so many weird woman sounds.
And the screams, scream after scream, it was a lot.
Is there a spirit of a woman with us?
Freaking nuts.
If there's anyone here, please touch the meter. Touch that black box in front of the clown. Oh my God, did you hear those screams?
Keep in mind, this is the road, the path that leads to the place where 18,000 people lost their life.
Were you tortured and killed here? That was a Ron.
What?
Were you tortured and killed here? That was a Ron. Do you want to talk to me? I'm Ron. Are you telling me to run?
Well, hold that thought, Lady Ellen. We'll come back to that.
Do you know George Mackenzie? Should maybe do this so you guys can see it. Maybe that's more ghost huntery. I'm definitely not going to run. Are you trying to warn me? Oh my God. Did you hear that? This thing is amazing. Thank you so much for talking to me. Is there anything else you want to say to me?
Yeah, if I wasn't looking back at it, see if I wasn't live streaming this, I would have been out of there. I would have been long gone.
Are you a woman? Why do I need to run?
Oh, the doll's there so that if anything wanted to attach itself to something, it didn't attach itself to me.
Tell me why I should run.
Even better, the doll, the clown had a second clown that came with it, and where I got them from, I woke up one morning and they were tied to my front door in a bag. I'm assuming it was one of the ladies at the community center thinking that would be a really nice gift for the kids, but they were the most terrifying things I'd ever freaking seen. And they had voice boxes that if you squeezed their stomach, 20 years ago, the voice box said something, but just sounded like the most blood-curdling, low battery. Oh man, it was.
Tell me why I should.
So really, it just goes on like this. And apparently, Ron from the past said there's a part 2 coming, but there was never a part 2. But I mean, what do you think, people? Okay, that, I mean, obviously the big moment was this moment. I've never ever experienced anything as insane as that night. It really was insane. Now, because we've all seen this now and we've all kind of got a flavor for it, I think what I'll do is I will go back here. For Ron, do you think you were communicating with a dead person? I don't know. I was having a paranormal encounter, Fred, because dead person, don't know. There's a lot of different ways of interpreting what people pick up on that are mistaken as ghosts, and all the rest of it. Residual energy from traumas, all of these things where energy replays over and over again. And this is just my opinion, okay? You're allowed to tell me I'm full of shit. I believe that moments in time can replay. Then spirits can be trapped here. Spirits can choose to be here. And there's also some incredibly bad people. And those bad people, when they die, can also live on in the afterlife being bad people. You know? Sometime if you're a psychotic murderer, the best version of you is a more streamlined and efficient killer. You know? It might not be the best version of me or you, but you gotta look at it from a different point of view. Honestly, one night I'll give you a whole lecture on why spelling, which is putting together symbols, it's called spelling. Okay, think about it, people. Think about it. Spell casting and that. Think about it. Yeah, don't forget to bring a towel. Yeah. So, give me 1 minute, just while I have a puff on my ciggy. Where the hell is it? There it is. I could not tell you other than paranormal activity. So I am not from the big three. Okay. I am not Christian. I'm not Jewish. I'm not Islamic, right? The big three religions. All of those religions would call me a demon worshipping monster. All right. Because anything that happened after the big three was automatically declared a demon, right? All the old gods, all the pixies, the fairies, the elemental creatures, the things that have been around longer than we've been around, all demons, all right? You've heard of the Norse gods? Demons, okay? You see what I'm saying? So there's a lot of things that I choose not to wonder about the definitions of, because I think we as humans have this over exaggerated need in our heads to understand everything to its fullest in order to believe it. Whereas I think spiritual world, magic, whatever you want to call it, the reason it's died out and the modern world is so lackluster in magic is because people just don't believe and don't think that they can believe in something unless they understand it. I have got incredible I've achieved incredible things doing things that I don't necessarily understand, but I understand the results I get from doing them. Do you see what I'm saying? So, yeah, I was never religious. I was never a believer in anything until I had an experience, my religious experience, that convinced me of my gods, basically, to put it in a cheesy context. And that changed my life. And ever since then, when it comes to the spiritual world and all of that, I am the biggest Chad, egotistical psycho that you'll ever meet. My soul is protected. Do you know what I'm saying? So, in the woods with in the wood, there's a lot. Yeah, listen, the crows mean a lot to me. They are on my ring, on my I've got the crows there, mooning and gooning. Or I probably mispronounced them, but that's the rough translation. So again, my brain is so dependent on data, and I couldn't believe in a religion until I had that experience. It changed my life, and I apply a lot of weird things to my life that work for me. You know, that's just the way it is. But I'm so eager to get back into this because, like I say, the big fluey episode that happened stopped all of this. And there's a lot of places in Edinburgh that are super easy to arrange just in Edinburgh. Then you go outside of Scotland, outside of Edinburgh, into the north of Scotland, where we've got proper ancient forests, right? Like some old frickin' trees, okay? Okay. Old. And I want to go deep into the ancient forest and just go and see what happens. I really do. Like I absolutely love it. I love it. And yeah. And for me, the tools that I use might not work for anybody else. You might have seen these tools being used. Didn't you get hurt when you visited the loch? Did I get hurt at Loch Ness? I can't remember. We did do a ghost hunt there at an old hospital, I believe. We believe as well, this is with the Ouija brothers. I think we really, am I a druid? Nah. Nah, sadly not. Sadly, a lot of things that comfort people when it comes to magic, Wiccans, druids, what's the other one? There's another one as well. These are really cool, comforting things. You think of like animals and nature and being at one. Nah. There's not many outwards white magic coming out of this guy. Kaza, you're getting that's the layman's term, Kaza. Very much what we say to the Christians so that they'll just not ask any more questions. So not a wizard, man. It's just witches. Whether you're a man or a woman, it's witches, right? Don't let anyone hit you with this wizard madness, okay? Freaking wizard. Grow up. So yeah. Also, yeah. Let's not delve too much more into my religion. That's for another night. We'll save that for another night. We'll deep dive into that. Also, I'm going to get the lighting in here correct. I don't know. I look everywhere I go. The lighting is just. Why am I so pink? The light up there is blue. Hang on a second. It's a little better. That's the ghost hunting video over. Yeah, that was it, man. Like I say, I was out there for hours. I cut out all of right. So I do know of Valhalla, right? But sadly, I'm not likely to die an honorable death in the battlefield like most people in the modern world. So it's almost like I need to adapt those ethics to the modern existence. But go and Google hell with one L, and then we'll have a chat. I can't remember what I was freaking saying. I can't remember what I was talking about. I was saying something. Anyway, so I want to go back to these places, go to some old forest, but there's also places like the Bean Cave, where the Bean family were a group of cannibals, that ate a bunch of people, obviously, in a cave, and we can not Hellenism. No, there's nothing. I couldn't tell you to go and Google what mine is. Just imagine a man on a journey documenting the right things to do based off of him being convinced a higher power has told him to do it. I'm not crazy, okay? But Swanee Bean, there you go. Well, listen, I think, to be honest, I think the live streams that I do, the paranormal live streams, will be on this channel and on my channel. I'll just link it all together, possibly. But I love it, man. I really, really do. But let me just see what we got here. Yeah, it's again, we're winning on Twitter. We got 460 in the live on Twitter, 137 on YouTube. So all we need to do is make sure you smash like, make sure you share, make sure you leave positive comments. I'm open to any questions anyone has. I'm open to anyone whose granddad's uncle works for Pixar with a supercomputer and wants to analyze the footage. Please help. Let's debunk this, because it's just, you can't. I'm just saying, you just can't. It's wild. It really is. So see this content more. Yeah, like, I love it. And like I say, do you know what else is really good, right? See, just walking around the places that are ancient in Edinburgh, right? Like, it's a nice little live stream on the way to these places. So there's quite a lot that we can do if you are up for that. I am itching, and I mean itching, to get back into more streams, more shows. I would travel around the country, yeah. Like, for example, if we were going to do a mini series, I would spend a week going and doing all of the shoots, all of the lives. Then all of the live streams would be taken down after the live stream, right? Everything would be edited, put back online, and then the live streams would be back, and the full live stream would be back and available when the video comes out. So you guys can be part of the live. If you missed the live, you need to wait till the video comes out, if you see what I'm saying. I don't support football. Unless it's full contact, it's not a sport to me. It's just a game. So, and there's nothing wrong with games. It's just, like, if we're playing, right? And just because you can run faster and are skinnier and can do freaking like spin moves, why can't I just kick your legs away from underneath you? Like, why can't I just tackle you to the ground? So rugby, I love American football. American football was great. Do you know what? Listen, women's hockey in the UK, right, is not like hockey in America. It is savage. It's just, not that I'm a fan of women's hockey, but it is a madness. Google shinty, right? Freaking nuts. Still run Rangers or Celtic. I don't really think either of them, mate. Honestly, I'll be honest. Like, I really haven't got a big passion for football, and it's a whole Catholic Protestant thing. And plus, nah, it's just not for me. Football's not for me. Boxing, bare knuckle boxing, rugby, American football. Anything that's full contact, I am a fan of. Yes. Gymnastics is pretty impressive. Like, for 5 minutes, a few times a year, seeing some mad person do like 9 backflips and then some corkscrew thing. Yeah, all right. That's impressive. So, figure skating. Do you know what? I can't watch figure skating. You know, when they're spinning each other about, all my ADHD is focused on is how many teeth and how many stitches that person is going to need if they use their face as a brake pad on that solid ice. Like, nah. Not for me. Not for me at all. But a lot of you mentioned the vaults earlier, right? There's the vaults. There's Mary King's Close. There is Greyfriars Kirk. There's another 2 or 3 really, really scary cemeteries that we can go to. I did Blue Nomad. I started out on YouTube going camping. I just wanted to make camping videos. So that's another thing I can do on my own channel. 100%. 100%. I would love to go. We'll head up to the Pentlands or something, head up to the woods, and we'll just sit and have a chill out chat next to the fire. Because I tell you, man, I'm telling you, Ron's whole ethos on camping is the only reason I went camping was to learn not to die. Okay. Like that, just to take all the fun straight out of the camping. There was one night I left, I think, at 1 o'clock in the morning. I think it was like 40-mile-an-hour winds. It was sideways rain. And me and the dog headed up to the woods with bin liners and duct tape was our shelter in the piss and rain. And my God, did we build a badass shelter. I mean, we were snug as a bug in a rug. I think that night as well, we had like ostrich steaks and something else. We eat well. Do you know what I mean? But I'm all about having nothing. There was one time I think I went with 5 bits of gear. I think I took a little stainless steel kettle, my sleeping bag. I think it was a hand axe, a fire steel. I can't remember what else. There was something else too. And anything I found along the way, I could take. And I think I found a bunch of like cordage that was like some cables that had been left out. Yes, Elaine, 100%. 100%. So yeah, I mean, I love bushcraft. I love the whole prepping thing. But for me, I love knowing, like I know now after 3 years of spending like a minimum of 2 nights a week sleeping wild out in the wilderness, I know any pine-based forest environment in Scotland, we're good. We're not going to die, people. I have the skills, okay? And then I started getting into the coastal camping, because obviously very different from forest being on the coast. And it was the only time I ever took a tent camping was to the beach. Because the beach, when the sun goes down and no one's there, it's a horror movie. Okay, it's an alien-based sand creature horror movie. So the only time I've ever taken a tent in the last sort of 3 years was to the beach, rightfully so, because my God, the shizzle that comes out of the sand, not for me. But you gotta not die. So yes, camping, fun. Do you know how many people that were subscribers from my old channel I took camping with me? And the amount of times I was woken up at like 4 a.m. because they thought they were going to die because it was so cold and they had just completely goosed. Like they were turning up with 120-liter rucksacks with all this gear that they didn't know how to use. You know, like bring wool blankets and fur. Okay, wool and fur tested for the last however many 100 years. Amazing. Why are we talking about this? But anyway, ghosts and that. Paranormal stuff. Can't wait to get back to it. Camping. Can't wait to get back to it. Yeah. So if you guys want it, I'm happy to do it. We'll keep, we'll keep the subject alive, if you will. All of the channel members, I am now redoing all the channel membership stuff. So there's a bunch of new stuff coming out there. I'm moving my recording space to a nook down the stairs that I've been ripping apart and doing stuff to. And once that happens, we'll be back into a whole new set of streams. But what's your view on aliens? Charlotte, do you know, we would have to define the parameters of the discussion, right? So for example, Charlotte, are you asking me from the point of view that we're going to believe the mainstream story as it is? Space exists, we're a planet, there's a universe, all that stuff, okay? From the argument of, do we exist in an endless realm of space? Obviously, aliens exist, right? Obviously, they exist. But I mean, we could sit and argue. I mean, we could honestly, the theory of the gray aliens being humans from the future coming back to salvage the individuality of our DNA, where we have different races and colors and hair colors and eye colors. Aliens seem to be a bit samey. So my favorite theory on the grays is they're us from the future coming back to fix whatever we did. Fun, right? That's a fun little thing. But man, we could have so many discussions things living inside the earth. There's mad stories, mad stories from contract workers, government contract workers, fascinating stories. And the beauty of it is we can talk all the theories we want, and no one's more right than the next person, because we just don't know, you know. So I love it. I love this stuff. Yeah, Nikki, this is the thing. You don't have to believe in any of it. I just think it's fascinating when things like a piece of plastic with lights in it pick themselves up and fly across a room. Because the beauty of it is, if you believe me, I am telling you now that happened the way you've seen it. Freaking Dementor picked that up and threw it. Physics can't explain it. You can't explain it. I can't explain it. So, yeah. Now, when it comes to this weird stuff that I've seen in the sky, when it comes to weird stuff that's happened to me in the woods, if you guys want another night like this that's like storytelling, I can do you a night where I tell you the craziest encounters I have had in the wilderness. Because it's Fred, rewatch it, man. Listen, Fred, debunk it, mate, please. Figure it out, because another thing you can do, Fred, is like recreate it. Recreate standing with something with a light on it, recording how it falls. Honestly, bro, because I've done that and I cannot figure it out. Anyone had an out of body experience? I don't know. Yep. All right. No problem, Queenie. I can get that over. No problems. See, there's the outer body experiences that people talk about when they're having like operations or dying. I don't think I've ever had one of them. Listen, no, honestly, listen, nah. It's not. There's no solvent abuse happening in the wilderness, mate. What bit is it at the gate? Yes, mate. Yes. I can replay it without the sound on the screen just now, just looping for you, mate. There we go. Because have you ever heard of astral travel? So that sort of stuff, I think I have, right? But listen, that's a whole other conversation, because anybody know about the man with the hat, the black man with the hat? You know what I'm talking about. If you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. But me and the man in the hat have had a long and horrifically traumatizing experience from when I was about 5 until I was about 30, right? And I mean traumatizing to the point where only in the last couple of years I've had mirrors around me, okay, for good reason. And that's a whole. So we've got 2 more shows, right? We've got dreams, shadow people, my experience with all that, right? And then we've got craziest encounters in the woods and all of that. Story time with Ron, you know. Also, then, if you look on my mother's side of the family, her mother is from Ireland. It's all Irish descendants on my mother's side. My mother's side is all Irish. And her entire bloodline was almost wiped out for witchcraft. So, yeah. It's a mad one. It's a mad one. So, and again, if you're a skeptic, I respect that. Don't worry. You may one day have your own experience where you become a believer. And I respect the need to see to believe. Because if I didn't respect that, I'd be very hypocritical, because my whole religious experience was based off of me seeing and believing and having my own experience. This experience, I'm almost accustomed to weird stuff happening. Like I remember things falling off of shelves and, you know, in an odd way as a child. My mum, my grandma, she basically lost her sanity because she believed that she could see the dead for most of her life. My mum, growing up, you could never lie to my mother because she's seen auras around people and she would just tell you that you would change color. I mean, maybe she was just saying that. Now that I think about it, that's probably something that your mum would tell you as a child and you would be like, whoa! I can't lie to my mum now because I'll change color. That's what you probably did, actually, now that I'm thinking about it, is figuring this out. That's a banger. That is an actual banger. So, yeah, I don't really like dreaming, right? I'll be honest. I think I've fallen asleep 5 or 6 times in the last 20 years. I fall unconscious. I pass out in the evenings. I don't go to bed and fall asleep. I pass out. And there's a big difference between the two. You can feel people's vibrations. Exactly. Yeah. There's a lot of things. So, for example, what if proper magic, right, is feeling a little vibration? If it's, one side of your body feeling differently to the other side of your body in a given situation or before something happens. Because it's so underwhelming, right? We brush it off. But what if what you're missing out on is a world of possibilities? Mystical. Believe in the signs. But seriously, believe in the signs, man. Like, people look for too much. Like, you're not going to see fireballs. You're not going to see the spirit man coming up and forming in a big mist and then screaming at you and chasing you down the thing. Maybe you will. I don't know. But this magic is a more subtle thing, and that's what I choose to believe. And it works beautifully for me. So, yeah, I'll be walking to her, listening with you in my pocket. Oh, nice. Hello. I like that. I like that. I'll tell you what, though. You don't run towards crying baby sounds, okay? That, I'll be honest with you, you don't ever run towards the crying baby sounds, all right? If you're just in the woods or in a place and suddenly you hear baby sounds, that ain't a baby. Don't be going near that. It's time to go if you hear the baby noises, all right? That is Ouija boards and baby noises. Nah, mate. Nah, not for me. Not for me. Also, as well, last thing I want to end on is will and intent. Okay. We know about the iceberg theory, especially when it comes to the iceberg of confidence, where people think they have self-belief, they believe in themselves, they portray a confident version. But in reality, that is the top 10% of the iceberg that people see. The hidden part, the inner you, the disbelief is the lower part. Intention and will needs to be completely solidified within yourself. And anyone who's interested in sort of exploring any of this, will and intent are the only things you need to master. And once you can get your head around what that means and having a solid belief, not a kind of this is fun. I mean, a solid belief in this whole realm, spirituality, magic, whatever you want to call it. All right. Once you have an understanding of will and intent, that is you taking your first step forward. Okay. Yeah. You want to break it down into science, a really good sales pitch, marketing, putting a book out there, starting point is the law of attraction, that whole thing. Okay. That is training your will and intent on a basic level. And if you need some science or some freaking documentaries and not a dude on YouTube telling you, that's a good place to get an understanding. But it's not about magic as a whole. It's getting your foot in the door with understanding, will, and intent. We have spoken a lot about some stuff. I think the chat is well read. Yeah, I think they are too, Fred. Thanks for pointing that out. Okay. I think the sky's blue as well, mate. Do you want to check? I'm sure. But I need to explain myself, because I can't have you interpreting my videos, myself, my life based off of how you live your life and what you believe in and what drives you and all this kind of stuff. No. You got to understand. You got to understand the madness behind it all. So, yeah. Manifestation, that's another way of looking at it. Yeah, 100%. 100%. 100%. Will and intent equals manifestation, incarnation, all that stuff. Spellcasting, baby. All that stuff. Well, listen. Let me know what you think of this. Well, obviously, we're back tomorrow with the Daily Show. If you guys want more sort of story times with Ron, all that kind of stuff, I'm happy to do it. I love sitting here talking with you guys. I love it so much. Very annoying that the music won't work, but I will figure that out because it's just not the same when I can't make a point and then make that point on the drop of the music and then change this. It just takes, you gotta have a bit of showmanship, a bit of flair. It was nice to see you too. Honestly, Morgs. Ron, do you have my IP address? Listen, Fred, listen. I have no need for your IP address. Don't ever have it come to the point where you think I might want your IP address. All right. But yeah, Fred, you're all right. A sassy little chap, but you're very welcome. I'm used to the lovable rogue that is Fred. So listen, thank you all for being here. Thank you all for watching. Yeah, can't wait to see you all tomorrow. Friday, we're back with the royal stuff. I know a lot of you are like, Jesus, give us... Yes, to crime shows tomorrow night as well. Yes. So we're back with John Wedger tomorrow night for Crime Theory. Then we're back on Friday with a royal mess. And of course, we're back all through the day for the Daily Show. I am working on another second Daily Show as well. And there's lots to come. So make sure you tell Mr. Atwood you want more of this. Really go and spam him in the comments. And... yeah, thanks for being here. Please, just tomorrow at work, when you're on your break, just Crime Theory is live. Just try and debunk the throwing of the thing, because it can't be done. It can't be done. None of this, it was a rat nonsense, all right? Because it can't be done. It was the maddest paranormal thing I've ever seen. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being so awesome, being open-minded and receptive. I'm not going to hit you with any of the love and light. That is not me, okay? I'm not disrespecting that. But I am way more in the gray and the black than in the white. So, yeah, love you guys. And I'll see you in the next one. Peace.